All right. Hello, Nigerians. Excellent evening to you all. We're here again, and it's that real time of the day for some real talk. We have another intriguing figure on the show today. I'm so excited to have her, to be honest. Is no other than Mrs. Olubunmi Aboderin Talabi, and she is with us in the studio today to give us fresh and different perspective of what it means to be a woman in the society of ours today, and how easy or rough, if that's the best way to put it, in the ladder of accession, how accession has been thus far. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining me today. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Lovely to be with you this afternoon or evening.
Thank you so much. So, aside the introduction that I've given, I don't know, can you please kindly give us a few introduction about who you are?
Oh my wow, I heard you say so many things and I was like, is that really me? I'm like, wow, and I didn't pay her to say those things. So thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. So my name is Olubunmi Aboderin Talabi. I'm a children's picture book author, and in addition to being the creative that writes, the various books, Diary of a Toddler, Why Do You Wash Your Hands, etc., I'm also the businesswoman. Because I haven't found a business manager yet. So I'm balancing the two right now. So that's the best way I can describe myself. Children's picture book author and entrepreneur.
Thank you so much. Can you say how articulate she is? I have to be careful with my choice of words now. You have a robust career for publishing in to management, and even being a trainer and a mentor, just like you've said. And what are the challenges been thus far in the industry?
Which industry first?
Thus far.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the main things are probably universal to all women, just trying to balance your work commitments, your family commitments, your personal commitments to yourself. And it's always, I think the main thing is to try to not neglect self as one cares for others, because it's said that any woman that you come across is taking care of 6 people in addition to herself. So herself, her husband, 2 children, maybe, mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father, that type of a thing. And what tends to happen is because women, by default, although it's not good to generalize, but women tend to be the carers, the nurturers, they sometimes forget to look after themselves.
Sure.
So in terms of challenges, I would say it's in trying to remember to look after oneself. While taking care of others.
Thank you so much for sharing with us some of the struggles that we women go through when trying to find a balance with our work and also taking care of the home front. Most of your recent published works revolve around children education. Why this special devotion? I'm curious, because when I was doing all sort of research.
Right. So things changed when I became a parent.
Yeah.
When I became a mother and I started reading bedtime stories to my daughter, I decided that I wanted to read stories that were more indigenous, stories that were based here, that showed everyday life here in Nigeria. And there are some, which is great, but I wanted more. And I think the final straw was when I read a particular book, excellent book by any other standards, but it was from abroad, and it had a text that seemed very innocuous, but then it had a subtext that I felt that the message wasn't very positive for children in our environment. So I thought, okay, we can't leave all of the children's picture book writing to people from other countries. Let's have writers in our country that share our own narrative, that project a more positive image of us, of our culture, of our lifestyle, and so on and so forth. So those were the things that really encouraged me to start writing, and I keep going. I keep
Thank you so much for that.
Ideas.
And I think that also leads to another question, because I know that recently you have further translated one of your recent book titled Why Do We Wash Your Hands? It seems as if you saw the future with all this coronavirus and everything going on right now, because I know that is like everything is now turning upside down. But what informed that?
I've always been an advocate of hand washing. I think it was maybe 6-7 years ago or so, I did a project, and for some reason I decided that on the back of the t-shirts I was going to write wash your hands with soap and water. So it's not a new thing, this passion about hand washing. I think it's because I saw at a mass gathering where they were telling people to shake hands, turn to your neighbor, shake hands, and things like that. At the toilets, people were going and they weren't washing their hands, and it kind of really grossed me out. And I just thought, you know what, this is why there's some sicknesses that can be avoided if people would just wash their hands. So I've always had it in the back of my mind.
You've now written and translated it into 3 prominent languages.
Yes, I know. Right. So that's why it took so long to complete the book. The English version was finished in 2017, and then my husband was the one who gave me the idea to translate it into Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. So I searched for translators, found excellent people. Debola Odanipekun did the Yoruba, and Haruna Abu did the Hausa, and so on and so forth. And we were finally able to release the book last year, which was great because we waited until October, because October is Global Hand Washing Month, and 2019 was the year of indigenous languages. So we thought, yes, let's make this an indigenous Nigerian history-making book, published in the year of indigenous languages, published during the month of Global Hand Washing.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I think that we actually need that during all these issues that is ongoing in our country. It has become a pandemic issue now, and I think that hygiene is really important right now. And please, that book, I think when we get there, before the end of the show, you will tell us where we can get all these books, because we'll be part of the publishers that is selling the book. Anyways, in one of your recent interviews, when I was doing some research regarding some of the books that you've written and some of your interviews, I realized that you refer to Nigerian women as the greatest natural resource people in the world. What is setting us back from using these natural resources so well or judiciously?
Wow. Yes, I do believe that women are Nigeria's greatest natural resource. And I do believe firmly in the inclusion of capable, competent women of character in all forms of leadership. I wrote an article once about the 12 P's that hold women back. And they include things like patriarchy. The kind of society that we have is a very patriarchal society, that believes that maybe only men can do certain jobs. And maybe there are some jobs that are better suited to men, but I don't think that we should automatically exclude women, because there's some exceptionally gifted women who can do things that are quite remarkable. Progeny, our biological construct means that it is more natural that women are the ones that are going to have the baby. And when you have to take time out to nurture, to gestate and to nurture a young child, it can, of course, affect your priorities, because your priority becomes the child. So that may be another reason why the trajectory of women in careers doesn't seem to move as fast as that of men, because men don't obviously have that capability of giving birth. And I also talked about your partner, the type of person that you marry. Once you get married to someone, that's basically it. So if that person is going to encourage you to achieve your dreams, to fulfill your goals, to fulfill your potential, then that's awesome. But sometimes if you marry somebody who doesn't want you to do that, would prefer if you just stay at home, then of course that's going to limit how far you go. Then also, how did your parents raise you? That's another P. Parents, because there's some parents from all over the country who strongly support educating all of their children, male or female. And you end up with a strong cadre of women who are capable in whatever field, simply because of the confidence that their fathers instilled in them, that their mothers instilled in them, simply because of the training that they received at home. So it depends on parentage, because some other parents may feel that either we can't afford to educate everybody equally, or we don't want to educate everybody equally. So if you have those kinds of things, those are some of the things that can either propel you as a woman in your career or in your business, or actually hold you back.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I know that you were the ex-chairperson of WIMBIZ, and I know that WIMBIZ supports and develops women. How can we measure the impact of WIMBIZ thus far generally?
I think WIMBIZ is an awesome association, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a member. Yeah. I'm still an active member of the organization. It really is a strong organization that encourages you to achieve your potential. I used to say jokingly that WIMBIZ has a way of provoking you into greatness, because they will recognize somehow that they recognize some sort of gift that you have, and perhaps you yourself didn't recognize that you could do that gift. And you will find yourself pushed to
the limelight.
to use that gift, or to use that talent. Like for me, I am actually, believe it or not, a shy person. I prefer to be in the background. So the role and the responsibility that I had when I was volunteering at WIMBIZ forced me to come out of my shell and forced me to start networking and things like that. And it's a skill that is so useful in running a business or in doing anything that you want to do. You have to know how to network. You have to know how to reach out and talk to people. Like this morning, I was sharing with you briefly, what my day has been like and the work I've been doing, trying to get the books, into the hands of different distributors. So I had a meeting with the chairman of one association of booksellers. And in my head, I was trying to remember all my training. Like, okay, so what do? I have to, find a way to connect, to relate, and, and it was all of that training. All of that training kicks in. So because of that, I always recommend that organization to women in careers, women in management, women in business, women in public service.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that before we go on the break, it's important for me to ask this question of knowing that we are still talking about Wimbi's. Wimbi's approach made SLS, Sanusi Lamido, to have a women inclusive senior management in the banking sector. A good reflection of that is the senior vice chairman of African Standard Chartered Bank, who happens to be my own adopted mother, Bola Deshola. And how can we? So the question is, how can we improve this quota? Because I know that women need to participate more, and what can they do to be there?
So how can they improve the quota of women in? I think it's don't leave before you leave, because sometimes, not sometimes, it has been said that women tend to disqualify themselves from certain roles before they are actually really disqualified, or they feel that, in a couple of years' time, I'm going to get married, therefore I don't want to apply for that promotion, or in a couple of years' time, I'm going to have children, therefore I don't want to apply to be posted to Cameroon or something like that. So one big advice that I remember is they say, don't leave before you leave. Don't anticipate that just because in the future you're going to be busy with family responsibilities that you're not going to take on additional roles at work. They say lean in, as in when they say, there's this opportunity, we need somebody who's really good at this and can go out here and sort this out. If you know you can do it, don't disqualify yourself just because you're a woman. Actually lean in and say yes, put your hand up and say yes, I'll try it. They say volunteer for stretch assignments. A stretch assignment is an assignment that you may feel is beyond your capability. But guess what? They say that a lot of times men apply for work, apply for jobs that maybe they only have 25% of the qualifications, but they'll still apply, they'll apply in faith, use braggadociousness, whatever, they'll apply and maybe they'll get the job. But women who have 75% of the qualifications will say, I only have 75%. And because of that, they won't apply. But what they're saying is, just go ahead and apply. Put your best foot forward, lean in, try, raise your hand and volunteer for that assignment.
Thank you so much for sharing that and for encouraging women out there. Please do not touch that. We'll go on a quick break and return after a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned. If you're just tuning in, this is Real Talk with Kike, and we have Mrs. Olubunmi Aboderin Talabi in the studio with us. She has been educating us on the capacity of women so far. It has been an inspiring and motivating session on the approach that needs to be taken in improving fair representation of women and their capacity in both private and public space. There are a lot of things that I would love to ask you, but because of time, so I would like to. Do we have a call? LA? Hello? Yes.
Hello.
What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ajawa State.
Okay. We lost that. Okay, we have a message from, I'm very sure it's Ayobami, as if I knew. Good evening, Real Talk with Kike, and greetings to Mrs. Olubunmi Talabi. Please, I want to give her a view on marriage and breakthrough, especially as it affects women. Should we approach endurance or flying solo when things go wrong?
Oh my, wow. That's a tough one. It's usually better to do things collaboratively. Yeah. They say if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. So I tend to go for the collaborative approach because there's so much wisdom available in other people, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you take the time to talk to somebody else and find out from them their opinion about something. So if you're with someone who can help in a matter, even if you don't even recognize that person can help, if that person is a stakeholder in whatever issue that you're facing, I personally would tend to consult rather than try to do things on my own.
All right, Ayobami, you have it right there. So I would like to quote you in one of your recent interviews or speeches I saw online. You said, if you want to run in 2023, the time to get involved is now. Women, politics, are there strategies for women to gain more advantage in the Nigerian politics today?
I would have to say yes. There are a lot of really, really strong organizations supporting women, encouraging women who want to run, who have a proclivity for politics, who have the strength, the stamina, the funding to do it. Of course, WIMBIS has a Women in Politics group. There's also another national group, I think, based in Abuja called Women in Politics. There are many, many organizations. There's United Nations Women. So the simple answer to your question is yes. Just a little bit of research can help you find relevant organizations that can help you or relevant organizations that you can join, volunteer in, learn from, in case you are interested in running.
Yeah, listening to you, it seems as if you have a better view of what women should do in terms of control. Can you share, that is, when it comes to some certain controls with their jobs, with politics, their home front and all of that, can you simply share just a few points that you think that might be useful to someone listening to us right now?
I would say it's your support system. That would be the number one thing. It's cultivate, nurture, treasure, and take care of your support system. So your support system is obviously your immediate family, your husband, your mother, your mother-in-law, your sisters, your sister-in-law. Cultivate your support system. If you're fortunate enough to have help in the home, that's also part of your support system. Your driver is part of your support system. Your mechanic is part of your support system. Yeah. Cultivate them, take care of them, nurture them, because they are the ones who are also working hard to help you achieve your goals.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that a lot of people try to, look down on domestic stuff and they do not know that without them, you cannot. Yes, they're very vital. So there's another message from Bolaje, and it said, "Hello, Olubunmi. Are there global collaborations that can give women international leverage in WIMBIS?"
Yes, I would say that there are a lot of international women's organizations. WIMBIS is a really great place to start. If you visit the WIMBIS website, wimbis.org, I'm sure you'll get a lot of information there. Attending WIMBIS events is also a great place to start. But in terms of international organizations, there's United Nations Women, there's Vital Voices, there's lenient.org. There are many, I think there's even a Generation Equality Forum run by the United Nations as well. So there are many organizations that are out there. So you just have to do research and figure out the best one for you.
Okay, we have another question for you. On a lighter note, who is Olubunmi's role model? This role model thing, maybe mentor.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have several. Okay. I'll mention a few. My uncle, my dad's brother, who looked after the family after my father passed. My father passed while I was quite young, but my uncle stepped in quite selflessly, and he looked after everyone. He kept us together. He helped us, until we were old enough to take care of things ourselves. So he's my role model in terms of budgeting, in terms of frugality. I have a series called Raising Money Wise Kids, and most of the things that I teach in that series I learned from my uncle in terms of budgeting, finance management, and frugality, living within your means and things like that. So I'll just mention him, though I have many.
Yeah, but that's actually a good one.
Yes,
to be honest. So I think before I ask my last question, I would just like to give you an open mic. If there's any other thing you would like to share with us regarding your books, where can the easiest place that they can get your books,
Yes, thank you. So my books, you can please follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Clever Clogs Book. On Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at Bumi Aboderin Talabi. To get the book, simply contact us. You can send us a DM on any of those platforms. You can also go straight to our website, cleverclogsbooks.com. In addition, places like Terra Culture, Quintessence, Reading Corner, Books Plus, Glendora, Pataba, they also carry our books. But if there are any titles that you can, also Tots Toys, I mustn't forget Tots Toys, the brilliant people at Tots Toys.
Yeah.
So if there are any titles that you need and you can't find them in those stores, just contact us directly and we'll be happy to deliver the books right to your door.
You've heard it all. So with your level of professional commitment, engagement, what takes your leisure? How do you balance out your work and relaxation? Really?
Kike, I'm still working on that one. But I like to read. I actually like to read just generally. And I think that's probably the main thing. I like taking walks. And recently I started doing dance classes. They are so much fun. Yeah. So yes. Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what you do for relaxation. That's a good one. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
Our closing remarks courtesy Omoluabi personality from Goldbeck is Obìnrin Ìpínlẹ̀ Àwùjọ, and as you've said it, you've heard this from without people like this, the foundation or the cornerstone of our society, I'm telling you, is shaking. The image and the outcome of any society is the kind of mirror that you want in any woman in the society. The success and the prosperity of any community depends on the capacity and involvement of the women in it. Thank you so much again for joining us. You've been very resourceful in terms of your knowledge and everything you've been sharing with us thus far, and I'm very sure these books will go to many places, in fact, internationally. And to all our listeners and all those who tried to call in that couldn't get us, and to all those who sent in messages and all of that, I say thank you for tuning in. I will be back next week, same time, same station, for another high-opening episode of Real Talk with Kike. But hey, not every respiratory illness is coronavirus, so it's important that I put that out there. But maintain safety. But for emergency case, you can call 762 or 112. Thank you and stay safe and clean. Bye for now.